Folks, power of sales have more than doubled. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending July 31, 2024. In the next part of the show, when I get into the charts and the data, the first chart I'm going to show you is the power of sales. And I can tell you, when we look at year to date, January to July this year versus last year, power of sales have almost doubled. They're up 87% this year versus last year. If we look at just the month of July on its own, this year we have 100 new power of sale listings. That's almost triple what we had this time last year. Power of sales are up. When we look into the data a little bit closer and we look at the actual properties coming up, many of these properties were purchased at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, and which, you know, if you kind of think back to that time, that's kind of the peak cycle. That's when these properties were purchased. So they've not held them long, and now they're in power of sale. And when you continue to look and you look at the data and start analyzing these properties, the power of sale listing on the MLS, for many of them, it's the first listing. It's not like the seller tried to sell on their own and the sale didn't happen and then eventually the bank or the lender took it over and put it on power of sale. The power of sale, the lender selling the property, is the very first listing. Why? I can tell you, the lenders, they don't want to take over the property and sell it under power of sale. That's not where the lender is making money. It's not like there's a ton of equity in these homes. Many, there's no equity. Many are negative equity in these homes. So the lender, it's not their business to take these over. And for some, it's becoming, especially the smaller private lenders, for some, I could see it becoming more of a burden just because it's not their business. They want you to make your mortgage payment. They want to make the money on interest. Working with lenders myself, I can tell you one lender that I've had lots of conversations with where we've sold some of the properties that he's had that went under power of sale. I can tell you there's some of his clients that he's lent money to that he says, Santo, have a look at this house. Give me an idea of what it's going to sell for, but let's wait and see. Because he's communicating with the homeowner. And on many of them, he's managed to work something out where it doesn't go into power of sale. And he just, one way or another, manages to work out a solution. And then we have other homes where he says, yes, Santo, we're going to sell this one under power of sale as fast as we can. You know what the difference is? The second one, there's no communication. He says he can't reach the homeowner, or they have a conversation. The homeowner's supposed to do something by such and such a date. It doesn't happen. He doesn't trust the homeowner. The homeowner is ignoring phone calls, not returning calls. It's those difficult homeowners. Now, I can appreciate they have a lot of pressure on them, right? You can appreciate that. But let's not lose sight of the fact that the bank, the private lender, whoever holds the mortgage on your home, they're the ones who actually bought your home so you could live in it. They're the ones who lent you the money for you to buy your home. You've got to communicate with them. You've got to try, and in most cases, there could be a solution to be had, but you got to communicate. You got to talk to them. If you ignore their calls, if you just stay quiet and not answer their calls or not do what you said you were going to do, they're going to be less inclined to try to work with you to find a solution. And I just, from experience, that's what I've learned out there. Talk to them, talk to the lenders. They don't want to take over your home. They do want to work something out with you. If there's a solution to be had, it's going to be through communication and dialogue, not through ignoring or not coming through and doing what you're supposed to do. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link up here. There's a link below this video in the description. The link is to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. City of Toronto. We're going to start off with power of sales. Now, these numbers are for all the GTA and all home types. I'm just focused in on how many properties are being listed as power of sales. The blue, those are last year's numbers. The orange, that's this year. January, February, March, all the way to July, the last full month that we've had. And you can see way more power sales this year than last year. When we focus on year to date, there are 270 more power of sales this year. That's an 87% increase year to date versus last year. Just for the month of July, it's almost 3 times more. Last year, July, there was 36. This year, 100 power of sale properties got listed. Just thought I would talk about power of sales. Let's get into our regular program. Here we have a quick summary. We got detached. This is just for the city of Toronto. Detached, semis and towns. I've got condos down here for reference to get an idea of prices and spreads. But if we look back 3 months ago, prices 3 months ago versus today, prices are lower today than what they were 3 months ago. We're going to start off with detached properties. For week ending July 31, sales are up. We went from 106 the previous week to 123 detached properties sold for week ending July 31st. Sales are up, but overall, I would still say sales are trending down. 26 properties sold at $2 million or more. That's up from the previous couple of weeks. Average sold price, it's up now 2 weeks in a row to $1,651,000. Prior to that, I was saying average prices seem to be dropping. Even though they're up a couple of weeks, I'm still kind of saying the trend is still overall headed down, but over the next few weeks, we'll see what happens there. Compared to last year, 1,651 is 10% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 8% lower. The dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. Average price, yeah, trending down. The median price also is trending down. Median price is $1,280,000. 123 were sold. What's also trending down is the percentage of properties selling at list price or more, which for this week, it's 37%, same as the previous week. Listings, the blue again is listings a year ago. The orange, it's this year. Listings are trending down on a weekly basis. Active listings was trending up. Now they're becoming fewer each week, active listings, but sales are coming down. Available properties for sale, which is active listings, is starting to come down. And months of inventory down from the previous week, but still overall trending up. Months of inventory sitting at 3.6 months of inventory. That's the whole city of Toronto on average, 3.6 months of inventory. If we break the city down into 9 sections, you're going to see that the average is 3.6, but different neighborhoods totally behaving differently. If we look at, say, East York, Beaches area, Riverdale, 15 detached properties are sold. Months of inventory is 1.8. That's pretty competitive. That's more of a seller's market. 53% of those properties, more than half, are selling at list price or more. If we look at Scarborough, 3.1 months of inventory. more than half, 51% selling at list price or more. High Park, there's only 6 sales. Average price is over $2 million. A third are selling at list price or more, but months of inventory is 2.8. Etobicoke, 22 sales, 2.8 months of inventory. Then you get some of the other areas. Weston, Yorkdale, 4.6 months of inventory. Uptown, Willowdale, Bayview Village, 4.7. York Mills, Rosedale, 6.2 months of inventory. The average price there is more than $3.2 million, and they're at 6.2 months of inventory. So I'm giving you the average for the whole city, 3.6. But that doesn't mean everywhere you go is going to be, kind of the bottom end of a balanced market. Some areas are still quite competitive, and others, you got a lot more choices, less competition. Let's take a close look at semi-detached properties. 37 were sold. 8 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price is $1,242,000. 1242 is 5% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 1% higher than where we were this time a year ago. Months of inventory sitting at 2.4. So we were climbing. Now we're in July. Months of inventory starting to come down a little bit. Still overall up from where we were 3 months ago. But 51% of the semis sold at list price or more. So 2.4, it's still kind of somewhat competitive. It's at the top end of a seller's market. Some other neighborhoods may be more of a balanced market when it comes to semi-detached properties. Here's townhouses. 13 were sold. It's not a lot. These are freehold townhouses. We normally don't do a ton of sales across the city of Toronto for freehold townhouses. So 13 were sold. 3 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price, $1,188,000. 1188, there's no percentage change from where we were this time a year ago. The median price is actually 8% higher year over year. And months of inventory sitting at 3.9 months of inventory. We go back 3 months ago, we were 3.1, 2.8, 2.4. We're now 4.9, 3.9. So months of inventory for freehold townhouses is up over the previous 3 months. Here's a quick summary. Like in most cases, it's going to be more of a balanced market, but there are certain pockets very competitive. A property comes up, especially if it's priced well, shows well, in great condition, maybe updated, especially those properties that are updated. Man, they still go quick. There's still competition. And you could be surprised if you're just jumping into the market right now and thinking, oh man, tons of choices. I could take my time. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.